Hi, my name is Johan from UX Nitro, and in this video we're going to look at a live production site, and I'm going to walk you through the process, what has been done to boost the ad revenue in regards with Zodiac. Alright, so when I received this website, it was doing really poorly. There was some good traffic coming to the site, but overall the revenue is so so we had to do some deeper diving to see if we can make the user stay a little bit longer on the site. Alright, so firstly let's go to a speed test at the moment. So while there was a lot of work that happened on this website, we only could get this website down to 22 seconds, which is horrible. So the site is built first of all with Elementor, which is placing a ton of strain on the website, which is most likely one of the causes of the slow responding server. Another thing that is also causing this website to be slightly slower is a CDN error. Because this particular website has so many photos, they configure the website in such a way that there is a block storage connected to the WordPress website, and all the images are stored there. So there is a ton of images, and I mean a lot of images, and every time the user makes a connection to the CDN, there's some kind of error. So once that is sorted, the metric will most likely fall below, let's say, at least 15 seconds. Alright, so that said, the reason why I'm speaking about this is because this is one of the most critical aspects when you want to create a successful website, especially when it comes to monetization. Regardless if you want to monetize with ad networks, or if you want to just simply improve product sales, it's crucial for a website to have a decent speed, especially on mobile. Alright, so that said, moving forward with a website like this, first try to, if you have a site that is giving you some speed problems, first try to establish what is all the causes for the slow responding servers. Once you know that, you can start fixing all these issues, and when you come to a place and there's nothing more to fix, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to rebuild the whole website from scratch on maybe a more effective method like PHP blocks, and just be more mindful about the software that you're using in the backend, especially with WordPress. So when I got this website, it had about 60 plugins. We reduced it to about 32, I think, around there, but still, it's still a ton of plugins that the server needs to deal with. Also, another thing about the site, it does have some excellent hosting. It's hosted by Cloudways, one of the good tiers, and still that is not making a big dent. But that said, let's quickly move on and look into some user experience upgrades that can be made. So part of the speed, it's always good to go through your entire website just to make sure that everything is working like intended, especially on mobile. There's small little details that typically you forget to do, or you brush down to the side for later and they never get to it, and those little small issues can give a user the idea that the website's not working correctly, and that will definitely cause some user drop off. So on this website, there's not much wrong on the site. Overall, the site is, appearance-wise, it looks really good. There's nothing that will prevent it to actually, have a good user experience. Everything looks good on mobile as well. There's just one thing, is the header section. If you have a website, always make sure to have a great navigation, because users expect navigations to be on a particular place on a website. And if they get lost and they go click on a button up in the head navigation and there's no buttons, that's a horrible user experience, and some users might get frustrated and just leave. Part of that, let's look at some things the website is actually doing right. So given that this is a house property website, what it's doing right is the search bar right at the top. So right to the first thing the user gets is you are allowed to go and search through all the material. But what will also help them is the idea to have categories listed out. There's no categories here. There's a couple of types. Categories is important because it will also give the user idea of what the website's about. So categories is also important for Google to verify what niche, what audience, and that kind of thing. So always try to include some categories if you can in a header. That is just for user experience, to have a better user flow. Alright, so let's open one of these post pages. So typically these post pages can be built with simple PHP blocks to just perform a little bit better. But a part of that, the site looks really good. There's nothing wrong with the site. Design-wise, that's great. All right, so the things that that needs to be done on a site like this is definitely making the site a little bit faster, making the server a little bit faster. Once you've got a decent user experience, make sure nothing is broken or making users drop off. You can go ahead and start optimizing Ezoic ads. So let's hop into the actual ad settings of Ezoic and just make sure or look at how this website is actually structuring or configure the ads. So you can see there's some decent traffic coming here, and there's some decent revenue, but this revenue can definitely be better once the site is a little bit more faster. So you can bargain on maybe a 10 to 15% at least increase on ad revenue, if not more, depending on what is the current state of your site. Okay, so ad configurations are pretty simple. So ad positions, what you want to be concerned about is ad types. Ad types, native you want to have on, vignette or ads inserter. Always make sure that you have some kind of message on top of the ad for the user, so they know that this is content that is sponsored. Also AI ad placements too. It's always good when you start off with Ezoic to have both these settings placed on. It's going to cause some ad placements maybe on undesirable places, but if you run the settings for like 3 months at least, you have got a baseline of what your site can achieve in revenue, and once you know that baseline, you can start dialing back and removing some of the ads. Alright, next is anchor tags is also good. Site rel, I try not to overload the site with too much of these ads, so this depends on the current website. So this website does have on. Sticky ads is always one of your best ads to have. Floating video ads is something that you need to think twice before you place it on a website. Typically floating ads will slow down your site tremendously, so be careful in placing floating ads. But there is a way to configure your Ezoic ads so your videos are shown on someone else's website, but you don't show any videos on your website. The reason for that is you can get some extra revenue for the content that you created, but you don't need to strain your website with loading these videos with code onto these pages. So this is something you need to take note of, and that's the same when it comes to Harmix video ads. Just be really careful with that. It just so all of the websites that I've been working on with Harmix on had poor performance, and that is just unfortunately how it is. Okay, beta forms I typically just exclude less. All right, so that is for the ad wise. So a part of this, there's one more configuration that you need to make sure that is always configured. Mediation is when Ezoic allows AdSense to bid for ad placements on the website. Essentially, the buyer's bidder gets the placement, and that could definitely drive up your ad revenue. In some cases, I found that mediation was almost more than 50% of the ad revenue. So for some websites, this can be a huge chunk of revenue, and if you don't have this configured, you have a lot of money on the kitchen table that you are leaving. All right, so part of that, that is the most basic settings. I hope this was insightful to see how one of the bigger websites do it and how they monetize their site. If you like this content, like and subscribe, leave me a message in the bottom, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Cheers, see you later.